Hello folks and welcome to another Epic Heroes Save as many animals as you can videos. For this one we're focusing on which heroes should you focus on build when you're starting the game and a little bit of information about some of them. So this isn't the full executive list of all the heroes available in the game, but as you can see there are many heroes in the game: Toku, Fury Wave, Julia, Baron, Mecha Valkyria, Storm Falcon, Indira. And so we are going to look at which best heroes can we focus on as a starting when you're starting in the game as a DPS and as a support, and the best carry heroes that will carry on with you during the entire game, and also how to create, or actually the creation of different lineup on number 1, number 2 and number 3 that actually will be beneficial for you to save in the game to use later in different stages. Some heroes are actually niche heroes which are only used in certain situations only. Other than this, you will never have to use them. So let's get started and let's look at the starting DPS support hero when you're starting in the game. Key point that is very important: some heroes were excluded from this list because of the difficulty of obtaining them, he or she, and also the factors that they will not help you on the long run. Also the easeability without you having to pay money to get them. Other heroes can also be beneficial in being used like Bonnie, but for the sake of this we're not really focusing on fully the new heroes, only some of them. Alright, let's have a look at the starting DPS support and the best support carry that will help you during your entire experience of playing the game. So in the support DPS we have Toku, Storm Falcon, Julia, Forest Avatar pretty much, Indira, Fury Wave, Godslayer, Fokler, Chloros, Time, Mecha Valkyria, Satan and Baron. Now we're focusing here on heroes that players can actually achieve in getting, and they're arranged in a specific arrangement when you're starting in the game. So the first hero you would go for is Tuku when you're just starting early in the game. Alright, second hero will be put as number 2 in actually starting early to try and build her, which is Storm Falcon. After Storm Falcon we have Julia, which is fantastic in causing repetitive attacks and damage. Indira with the electric arc, which can really shock your enemies and kill them by the repetition of attack. And a number of these heroes are actually area of attack, AOE. Area of attack heroes attack multiple enemies at the same time, not only one enemy. So if you're looking at Tuku versus Indira, Tuku is one target at a time. Indira is an area of attack hero. Folklore, area of attack. Chloros, area of attack. Baron, area of attack. Mecha Valkyria, not an area of attack. Satan, not an area of attack. Storm Falcon is an area of attack. What's the point of an area of attack? It means that the hero can attack multiple enemies at the same time, causing damage to multiple enemies, which actually eases the battle and makes it easier for you to win. Now, I am aware that Time in the first list is considered actually a support and a buffer more than actually a DPS. Time, when it comes to using him, is to increase the damage that a hero will do, and at the same time maximize how much damage the enemy takes during the battle. That's kind of the main point of using Time. He also assists in recovering of HP. So why add Time in the DPS start early package actually of heroes? Because you will take a long period of time unless you're paying money in the game to actually awaken him. So the best thing is to actually consider building him from an early stage while you're playing the game. That's why he made it to the list instead of just being put in the best support carry. After that we also have Fury Wave, which is known to cause high damage burst when you actually upgrade his exclusive. Baron, also the same scenario. Satan comes in the DPS support direction because he can be used as a DPS and can be used as a support. His main point of ability is when the enemy is taken out, one of the enemy heroes dies, is killed, he can attack. And then when he attacks, he can attack again if his attack kills the enemy. And he can keep doing that like a loop, unlimited amounts, and he upgrades or increases his damage the more actually he keeps on attacking and causes damage. So he has a damage increase ability, and he also has the ability to keep on attacking as long as his attack takes out the enemy. That's why he's like a loop. You add him with, for instance, folklore and time, they will enter into a loop if you give them the orb, and they're strong enough to keep on killing the enemy and doing high burst damage. To the three, pretty much. Now, moving on, because we're not gonna focus on all the details of the heroes in this one. Best support carry heroes. The selections here range from Rockefeller, Houston, Lady Ivy, Lucas, Einstein, Space Monkey, Thinker, Cyber Ronin, Q-Pan, Afra, Music Fairy, and the Forest Deer and Medusa. Now, the selection, of course, most of you are aware of Lucas when it comes to his contract and helping your heroes to survive in battle, Einstein in reviving your heroes when they get killed, Lady Ivy entwining the enemy, those plants that actually stop the enemy from moving, Houston in actually decreasing the armor of the enemy, helping and causing more damage, Rockefeller in terms of stunning the enemy, and early in the game you will really need to utilize Rockefeller and Lady Ivy and Toku. The three actually mix and match perfectly in helping you to twine the enemy, stun the enemy, and with Toku's continuous attack take out the enemy. After that, of course, you have Medusa. Medusa is on the poison petrification. She poisons the enemy. The poison keeps taking chunks of their HP. They die faster. So that's kind of the main point of using Medusa. The petrification itself stops the enemy from moving. When the enemy cannot move, he cannot attack. You can attack them and they can be killed. Now for the Music Fairy, the selection for her comes from the point of increasing the damage that the hero in the same lineup, pretty much same row in the battle, can gain from that, from her ultimate skill, and also in recovering HP and increasing the speed of your heroes. Space Monkey is more on slowing the enemy down, and is very good at it, and at the same time reducing their armor and reflecting part of the damage. So that is a fantastic hero to use early in the game. Cyber Ronin made the list because he can actually increase the damage that your heroes do against the enemy. That increase of damage and recovering of HP for your heroes is fantastic, and it helps in multiple battles. By just adding him, you will actually do more damage in the overall battle. Cyber Ronin, Cupin on the other hand, increases the attack, he's a buffer, and at the same time recovers HP, and at the same time he has a skill when your hero's HP drops for the first time up to a certain point, he will recover part of that HP. Afra is very simple in the direction of just a healer recovering of HP, and increases the armor while being in battle, increases the armor of your heroes. By increasing the armor of your heroes, you actually take less damage, stand longer in battle, and it is similar to what the Forest Deer actually does by helping in recovering of HP and boosting attack. Boosting attack means increasing the attack damage that the enemy takes. These are special skills that different heroes have, and we're just utilizing it in a mix and match combination. So Thinker, shield and recovery HP is very straightforward, is the last one we're gonna focus on. You kind of are more aware of how these heroes work at this stage, I hope. Thinker is very similar to Afra, but the only difference is he gives better armor. He's on the S plus ranked hero tier, and he also helps in recovery of HP. So armor, HP recovery, and that is all he can do. His support, not an attacker, not a DPS. DPS, by the way, are attackers that actually are in the game to help you win by causing damage, or they're meant to cause damage. They're not on the support to increase damage or heal or something like that. Yet some of them may have different abilities to heal at the same time or increase attack. These are special skills only given to certain heroes. Other than this, their main focus is to cause damage, drain HP of the enemy. Alright, let's move on. We gave some information for each of the heroes, kinda up to a degree, so you can understand what they can do. Now it's time to actually move on to the second point that we're going to be looking at in this video, which is the lineups. Now for three simple lineups, I've selected these three, and their focus in lineup number one, Lucas, Lady Ivy are focused on surviving in battle, twining the enemy. Houston is focused on reducing the armor of the enemy. Einstein is focused on reviving and resurrecting of Lucas or Lady Ivy when they get killed, and the Music Fairy is focused on recovery of HP and boosting Toku's damage so she can do higher bursts of damage. Lineup number two. Here we're focused on Storm Falcon as a number one. By the way, they follow an arrangement of number one, number two, number three, four, five, six, just in the lineup in the game. So Storm Falcon does burst damage with her skill. She doesn't take any damage in the first round. And next to her is Logan. Logan pretty much takes the enemy in number one, the number one enemy in position one, and then he actually causes damage and helps in recovering of HP. Mecha Valkyria is in number three in the lineup to actually cause burst damage and start taking out the enemy. And in the backliner we have Chloros, and Chloros is known as the Queen of Desert. As the Queen of Desert, her entire direction is keep attacking, keep gaining totem points or totem points, and then attack in a burst attack, area of attack, the entire enemy, causing high burst of damage in one go. We added next to Queen of Desert Folklore, Godslayer, for the simple factor of he can actually attack multiple targets with his ultimate skill once he fills up his energy bar. So he completes the direction of the cycle of another heavy hitter with Storm Falcon, with Mecha Valkyria, with the Queen of Desert. Of course, Folklore, you all know that he will attack, take a slash at a number of them, recover some of his HP by using his own blood. The HP pretty much is what he uses to increase his damage. And next to him directly is Avatar of the Forest, Julia. Julia is added because of her continuous stabbing attacks as a DPS, also a strong one. So the entire lineup number two, is focused on increasing attack, heavy attackers, heavy damage, non-stop. If you don't get killed by Storm Falcon and you don't get killed by Kenley, you will get killed by the Godslayer. If you don't get killed by the Godslayer, the Queen of Desert also will cause high burst of damage. If that doesn't work, there is always Julia added to the formula to actually do that last stabbing damage, taking out the remaining part of the enemy. As a replacement, instead of Julia, you can use Time. Time will help in boosting the entire damage of everyone in lineup number two. He'll also help in recovering HP. He will also use his ultimate to get the Godslayer to be triggered again to attack with an ultimate skill, just as we want. And overall, lineup number two is heavily focused on DPS combined together with their support, with their skill, with how they actually function, just to actually take out a very strong and powerful enemy. Because if you add the orb, for instance, the evil artifact, to the Godslayer, or you add it to Time, they can go into a loop if you have it upgraded to the exclusive enough for the orb. By entering into a loop, the Godslayer and Time can just keep on attacking again and again and again. Storm Falcon in round number one is protecting you in the first place. One of the enemy heroes is taken out by Logan. Mega Valkyria will start burst busting attack, taking them out. So it does have a high significance of success rate as a lineup. Now, in moving into lineup number three, and the main focus on lineup number three is actually two heroes specifically. The rest are more on the supporting side for those two heroes. So we have Rockefeller. Now Rockefeller, if you upgrade his exclusive and work on him, and all these heroes, by the way, you need to work on them, gather the relics, give them the T1, upgrade it to T2, and we'll go in another video related to equipment. The most important thing in lineup number three is, so Rockefeller will stun the enemy, hopefully. And then in number two, you have Space Monkey. Space Monkey will reduce the armor of the enemy, reflect part of the damage, and if you give him the relics, he can actually slow down the enemy, just like Angel Wings does, similar to it actually. And then by doing that, you have 2 DPS, okay, that are the main ones that we're using for this lineup, which is Satan and Indira. The main point of using this is Indira will actually use the electric arc and start taking large chunks of their HP. Satan, at some point when one of them dies, he will be able to trigger his attack again and again and again and keep on attacking them. But for that one, you need to give him the relics and build him up actually and be respectful to Satan. He's not weak, but we kinda are gonna use him on the support functionality for Indira. And of course, after one of the enemies is taken, then Satan attacks again and again and again. Fantastic, great. You keep taking out the enemies by the electric arc. You have a strong, actually, meat shield, which is Thinker in number 1, unless it's going up against Toku, which means the selection of these lineups need to actually match the enemy you are going up against. Lineup number 3 may seem a little bit dumb, but it actually has a specific point and specific heroes to go up against. Not any hero. You cannot put lineup number 3 against Tuku. The enemy has Tuku, for instance, or certain heroes. That will be a little bit problematic in battle, because Tuku will take out Rockefeller and then move to hero number 2 and then 3, and voila, you have lost. So the point of adding the forest deer is the simplicity of it increases the attack and it helps in recovery of HP. By her increasing the attack of Satan and Indira, they can actually cause more damage. They get a boost from her as a buffer, and by more damage, they will take out the enemy faster, which equals Satan to be triggered to attack again and again and again, which equals you win the battle faster, and at the same time, we have Thinker for HP recovery. So as much as lineup number 3 might be a little bit weird, but it actually works because of the combination of DPS, which is Satan, Indira. Yeah, that's it. They're the only DPS actually in lineup number 3. We have more on the support and buffers and meat shield. One is a meat shield. Space Monkey is a support buffer, kinda, but more on the support. Thinker is a support buffer. He buffs by giving armor, pretty much, and shields. That's kind of his buff of recovery. Yeah, it's not a buff that increases your attack. And then, of course, the forest deer, which helps actually, which she is a real buffer in HP and attack increase. Before you disagree with lineup number 3, just remember we're gonna show multiple lineups, so calm down. Don't start typing the comments, oh, this is stupid. Why should I add these heroes together? They're so weak. Something like that. Anyway, let's move into the lineups. And we're going to show the first lineup. Now, looking at this first lineup, you see number 1, number 2, and number 3. An alternative version, 1, 2, and 3. And then another one, just for your beautiful eyes, 1 and 2 and 3. Now, these lineups actually do not focus on the faction bonus that you will gain by adding heroes from the same faction. Yep, it focuses more on heroes that can work together in a lineup. Supposedly, some of them are a little bit questionable. You can question them. But the main point is they focus on some balance of heroes that actually support each other in battle. And I think that's one of the things you wanted. Some of them you might disagree with, others you might accept. And we added Bonnie in Plan 6, number 2. Yeah, unfortunately, it happened. She's not fully ready for that, but it's just to showcase different lineups. The spaceships have also been added just for your beautiful eyes. You can actually see it. And of course, you will question yourself and ask, why this hero? Why that hero? You'll focus on the majority of lineups have 1 or 2 or more DPS, have 1 support or 2, a buffer, something of that in category range. They might even have Rockefeller or Anna as a CC. Some will focus on the dark faction, others will be mixed combinations, others more on the Superman faction. The main concept for these lineups aren't really the faction bonus of adding heroes from the same faction. It's more on the combination of heroes that can work together. So do let me know what you think of these lineups. Trying them in the game. Unfortunately, not every request we were able to jam into this video because of the long duration and trying to explain a number of things related to the heroes. So I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, it is a very extensive long video and we couldn't go into every single hero in terms of building. On the positive side, you guys can always refer to the hero building series because that's what the one actually we focus on, building the heroes, the T1, T2 selection and stuff like this. It carries almost every single information related to building a specific hero. So guys, do let me know what you think of these lineups, the hero selection and the heroes themselves, and please do watch the recommended video that's gonna show on the card in the upright corner of the screen. Thank you so much for tuning in.